What's good, guys, and welcome back to the channel for another video on Marvel Contest of Champions. In this video, I'm going to be doing my mastery build for 2019. I thought to myself, yeah, you know, I've not done this in a while. Let's sit down and sit down and discuss my mastery. I didn't really think this through, did I? In this video, I'm going to walk you through my mastery build for 2019. See, walking. But who cares? Let's focus on the main subject of the video, and that is mastery build. First of all, what are my intentions from this build? This has been about creating a mastery that is applicable to do Labyrinth of Legends, but also leaving me with good opportunity to do things like Alliance Wars. But now that we're in a mid-season, I'm pretty much going to go into Labyrinth of Legends. So I think for a good chunk of the week that I am off, this mastery will be absolutely fine. Even though Labyrinth of Legends isn't as difficult as it was when it was first introduced, and that's largely because if you want to rush through content, then you'll largely find that you'll be using the lesser starage. So for example, if Kabam put in a really difficult type of event similar to Labyrinth of Legends, now you'd probably go and use your 6 stars. If then Kabam then released 7 stars, 8 stars down the line, it would probably mean that the event would become more easier based on those starage increases. Back in the day, we only had 4 stars available to us, so the days of having 5 stars or even 6 stars, you know, weren't even thought about. Nowadays, with a few tweaks and changes to Labyrinth of Legends, as well as the difficulty in starage, it does mean that having 5 stars to 6 stars, especially at 565 and rank to 6 stars, are going to be able to smash through this event, especially with good masteries as well as good synergies. But I digress, and let's walk you through what I'm doing in my offensive, then we'll go defensive, and then finally we'll go proficiencies, which used to be called utility. So to begin with, strength is just there to open up some stuff for me. Not a lot of people do use strength, especially because you get to things like greater strength, and then you get to something else, which is courage. Now, it could be a bit debatable why you have courage, but if you're considering the fact that when I'm doing something like Labyrinth of Legends, if I've then got a champion knocked out and then I revive, and then they've got like 40%, obviously it's a 40% level 2 health for revive. So that means that I'm going to have to go, right, well, if I put it above 50%, then this becomes null and void, no pun intended. The same thing could apply because most of the time I'll be using Stark Spidey at rank 565, which is going to mean that Hero's Mantra is going to be quite important. Now, if I go above 50% health, it means that I get this kind of increased critical rating. If it goes below 50%, it means that my blood proficiency is going to be better. So it switches from offensive above 50% and then defensive below 50%. So something like this is going to be handy for that champion, and especially, like I said, with those level 2 revives, and as well with the other champion I'm going to be using, which is Blade. Now, you know, it doesn't really matter with that champion. It's just nice that when you drop that health down below, and I'm not doing stuff like regeneration, that I can really kind of smash in through and, you know, feel quite comfortable that the attack is going to be increasing exponentially, and it's probably going to pack a meaty punch. Moving swiftly on, I've just got Pierce here to kind of, just for the sake of it. Some people do find great value in Pierce, but you know, at the moment, it's not something that I'm particularly building. But this is when it's vitally important for things like critical rating, and it's the reason that I've got lesser precision and also standard precision, if I can say the word right, precision, in order to exploit the huge amount of critical rating increase. So that is what I'm doing there. We've got Blade that, you know, I'll be doing a synergy that's got a little bit of crit between him and Stark Spidey, and that's the formulation of a great synergy team there, and then padding it together with increased critical rating. So I'm trying to see huge crit damage, as you can see by the next set of masteries that I've done. I've just put 2 into lesser cruelty. I think I was struggling with 1 extra point. I was thinking, oh, I don't know where to put this, so I just put it in there. But 5 for standard cruelty, so critical damage rating is increased as well. You know, I'm hoping to see some great numbers, and I'll be running some footage over the top of this, which is from a Stark Spidey video I did, which just shows like the extent of, you know, huge amounts of crit damage. 15k here, 15k there, about 40 to 50k an SP2 plus the stun damage, shock damage even. So, you know, it's all about creating strength behind those champions, seeing the crit damage and crit rating increases. that mean for a smashing time in Labyrinth of Legends and any difficult content, whether you got a 3-star or a 4-star or even a 5-star and 6-star of whatever champion, you'll definitely see those smashing effects from crit damage and crit rating increase. Moving Taylor swiftly on, and we talk about Glass Cannon. I love Glass Cannon. I think it's pretty darn decent. Now, a lot of people use it with things like Suicide Masteries, and I probably will explain in another video what Suicide Masteries are and whether or not they hold any caliber in the current state of the game. Short answer, no. Long answer, possibly. And the short answer, no, is basically around Alliance War seasons. The amount of people that I've gone against, and like there's a small amount now of people that run Suicide Masteries. Those that don't have alliances that really want to kind of grind out things like Arena, it's amazing. But at the same time, when you go against people like that and they recoil, they become a liability when it comes to the defensive applications. So putting in your champions with Suicide Masteries is asking for suicide. But I digress again. Glass Cannon I love. Yes, you reduce down your health points, but the advantage is your attack points go up. It does exactly what it says on the tin. And, Stark Spidey, again, like fantastic damage output champion. Blade, fantastic damage output champion. So, yeah, I mean, I rate that decision to put it in with a Labyrinth of Legends grind. Despair at the moment for me is opening up the next two things. And before, I do see some value in Despair, but, it's just, again, opening up for deep wounds. Having Blade in my team, that's at 565, is one of the key reasons that the champion is getting those deep wounds. Now, that may be, I don't know whether or not I should have strengthened and made the team around Stark Spidey, and therefore having things like deep wounds would just be 4 points lost. Again, I don't know if that's the case, and it's something that maybe I should review when doing further runs into Labyrinth of Legends. But the fact is, deep wounds is there for the initial clear, the easy path, for the bleed damage that Blade puts out, and at the same time, this goes hand in hand with Assassin. When an enemy is at a certain health section, health point percentage, you are then able to smash through with an assassinating blow that is going to allow you to then kill off the enemy. If you're not familiar with Assassin, then this is something to get to at a later point in your Marvel Contest of Champions career, and don't worry, you will get there. And for those that have Assassin, you already know how good this is. Next up, and let's move on to defense, where there's not much. As you can see, like the split, 37 points went into offensive and then 14 going into defensive. Should I have changed that around and put more into defensive? Offensive, then... Next up, let's talk about defense. Now, as you can see, 37 points are in offense and only 14 are in defense. Maybe it's the case I could have shipped a few points over to offense, but man, I think the balance needs to be somewhere in the middle, not too much going over to offense. That's more of a case of Suicide Masteries are all about that kind of all offensive, all killer and no filler. And I want to put a little bit of filler in, and yeah, I'm sort of happy with this, but sort of not. I think there's definitely room for improvement with this. So to begin with, we've got Vitality moving over to Greater Vitality to then open up. Those are two things that are just there to open up certain aspects of Salve, which then go over to 5 points into Recovery. And even though Recovery doesn't overly massively improve things, for champions that have got some sort of regeneration ability, yeah, okay, it's still very helpful. And then down below, again, debatable whether or not this is a right thing. When I was doing Labyrinth of Legends, I had to really assess my ability, and I wouldn't say I'm the most amazing player at the game. There are times that I make mistakes. I don't really rate this device at the moment. I think that there are some things that, the AI seems to move quicker than me, and I'm not saying that there should be kind of a divide where the AI has to slow down, but there's times where I kind of flick back for an evade and find that the champion just stands still or goes into a block, which I don't think is particularly good. And the amount of times I have to clean my screen, reboot the game, and I'm just thinking, oh, is this a problem with the device? Then other times there's connection issues, which, you know, I'm finding that my connection's fine, but then there's a problem with commands. I know a lot of other people in Europe are affected by this, so, you know, I will kind of like take it with a pinch of salt. But either way, I will take block damage, and that is the point where, and I really shouldn't be focusing on parrying at any point in Labyrinth of Legends. And yeah, as well, I shouldn't really be down to being in a block, because my armor rating is just gonna be null and void. There's gonna be no point to it. But block proficiency is there just in case I make that mistake and need to get a block, and just kind of pause and take light of the situation, going, okay, well, what do I do now? Do I intercept in a moment? Do I evade back and assess the way that the AI is moving and go into more intercepts? And you should see that in some of the clips that I'm going to put over the top of this video, where it's just gathering your thoughts. You need a moment just to think about what the next play is, trying not to get yourself absolutely smashed. This then leads us on to perfect block, and obviously the same reason there that I've decided to put that in is in order to damage limitate my mistakes, because mistakes happen and I want to still be able to keep myself alive during the fights. And finally, let's talk about the masteries that reside within proficiencies, which used to be called utility. And there's been a few changes last year, end of last year, which some people have agreed with, some people have disagreed with. Personally, I'm a bit kind of on the fence with. I can see the side and feel the side of those that ranked up Mystic-based champions for the mastery of Mystic Dispersion. Command felt this was overpowered. I ranked up my Dormammu, put a lot of signature stones on him, put him up to rank 4, and, you know, I was pretty happy with that champion. Mystic Dispersion meant that I was using him in an offensive line. Now it's a case that I don't really know. He's kind of gone into the ether, and in fact, because of Mystic Dispersion's changes, he doesn't actually factor into any kind of defensive play. So for me, I use him a lot in map 5 Alliance Quest, and, you know, I don't really know what to say about that, because I do feel that I did rank him up based on utilizing that particular mastery. And what are masteries? Are they meant to be very generic to reflect and improve all champions, some champions, one champion, no champions? It's like it's a hard argument point, so I'll leave it. I think I'll leave it there before delving a bit too much into it. But either way, dexterity changed a little bit, and as well, like placements of things, as you can see over the far left, things have kind of gone in a different placement where they used to be in a certain way. So to begin with, parry, 3 points in there. It's a good mastery. Like, if you're going to look for a basic mastery, have parry, have dexterity. It's good to kind of block and then hit out a champion that's in a stun, and at the same time evading away from champions, getting dexterity, so that then you can then hit in. It's always nice to evade and then intercept, utilizing that dexterity mastery. And then finally, I've got Stupefy in here, and Stupefy, every time I see it, it reminds me of Harry Potter, where just, you know, Stupefy, and they just get them paralyzed. Anyway, whatever. In any case, yeah, so it just increases the amount of stun time, which can be really helpful, especially in a certain situation. But do remember, for people that are new to the game, that there's going to be some champions that will be able to shrug that off quite quickly. To give you a few examples, Rogue will cycle through very quickly. 3 specials, Blade would probably shrug it off very quickly. We've then got Tenacity from Agent Venom, and there's a few other champions that get some sort of tenacity as well, so do watch out for that. Don't think that every champion is going to be parried very easily. So that's been a video all about my mastery build for 2019, and obviously I've got my own intentions for stuff like Labyrinth of Legends to complete, as well as lots of other different content coming into the ether. But either way, what are your thoughts on that mastery build? Could I be improving things? If you've got better suggestions, then put it in the comment section below. And at the same time, I will be doing some very basic mastery builds, and probably doing a free-to-play account in the coming weeks and months, so do look out for that. Thanks very much for watching. I've been RichTheMan, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And at the same time, hit post notifications on, so when my videos come up, you get to see them, including the very popular Marvel Contest of Champions news. I say that like it's a really popular thing. I'd love to see it. It is a popular thing, and people like it. So yeah, thanks very much for all the support on the channel. I've been RichTheMan, and I shall catch you in the next one. Bye-bye for now.